Bing.
Cool.
And
Sure,
did you need
thanks.
me to post the agenda, or do you, Gabby, have it?
I have it. I can share it. Oh, there it is. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, great. So first is the call to order, and just review and approve the agenda. I'm okay with it. Raheem?
I'm okay with it as well. Thank you.
All right, so public comments. Do we have any? I know that we have a member of the public, I think. Chewy? But hearing none, or maybe?
Just wanted to join the call and observe. That's all right.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Cool. Yeah.
Thanks for joining.
Nice to
And
meet you.
feel free to chime in whenever you see fit. We don't have much content today, or I should say tonight, but we usually do cover quite a few things. So the next item is the board member news stories update. We're posting as we go, and I don't think that's changed in the last few months either. So we'll probably stay the same.
Yeah.
Anything to add?
Did John's story ever get up?
Yeah,
It did. Yeah,
Okay.
it did. Looks great. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I have a question for you guys. I know we're now sort of half jokingly and half for reals declaring this the year of UNNC's year of the tree, but should we wait till after the April 1st board meeting to really say that, when we are voting one way or the other on the Jefferson Park Greenbelt?
Yeah, we can probably wait since it hasn't been approved by the governing board, but I do want to get the ball rolling on getting some pictures in. So
Right.
if we could, I think I emailed you, I don't know, I forgot when, just to get Jenna's information. So
It
that
did, yeah, I hit reply and sent it back to you.
Oh, perfect. Okay, thank you. Yeah,
So
I'll just
whichever
get in
email you
contact with
sent it
her.
from, look in the email that you got it right back at you.
Yeah, I'll take a look. No worries. Just so that we can get the ball rolling on that, on some
Sure.
photo ops, and it'd be pretty cool. Actually, I was thinking of inviting some of the board members to take pictures with some of the trees and just sort of like do this
Yeah.
Earth Day, social media posts. So I'll
Yeah,
email
I
Jenna
mean,
about that.
yeah, it would be, I wonder, since a bunch of us now have been vaccinated, not necessarily tree huggers, but like Dorita's vaccinated, I am vaccinated, there's probably others. We should be allowed to go and at least put our foot on the shovel and fake dig or really dig part of a hole with a tree standing by to go in. I mean, in other words, I don't think we'd be violating Department of Neighborhood Empowerment rules for
I mean, if we
anyone
can do like maybe one photo op per,
yeah,
just on an iPhone, like just take a picture, and you guys can use it on your own social media too. So I think that would be really cool to give an opportunity to each of the board members to take a picture so they can have, proof that they're doing something to their neighborhood.
right. No,
Yeah.
that's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
exactly right.
So once I reach out to Jenna, I'll just tell her about our little plan and we can go from there.
Okay.
And then I'll share at the April meeting when we talk about the Cal Greenworks item, that we'll use that as a photo op too.
Okay.
So
So good to know, because I got to get them focused on a 3-minute presentation. I mean, there's part of the way to get our board meetings to last shorter is to, I realize, focus our funding requesters and other people, help them edit their presentations so they're much shorter and focused. So I have to talk to them about that.
Yeah, Jenna needs a little bit more refinement for our
well,
board.
No, not just Jenna. I mean, we digress, but I talked to Donna Jones today, and she was actually upset because so many people in our Zoom room meeting didn't know what the South Seas House was. I said, well, you know what? I'll work with you this weekend and we'll make a PowerPoint 3 minutes long that shows what the South Seas House is and the Isidore House next door, and maybe
I
a
think
photo.
she was just upset. People, I don't think that anybody asked where the South Sea, I think it was just maybe one member of the public, but I think we all knew. I think she's just upset because we were questioning the funding
Well,
for the cameras, you know?
yeah, there's that, and we can't help that. But my point is, I'm going to work with her to create a very brief presentation, you know, a PowerPoint converted to PDF. And I think that is a good way to, you know, ask, you know, see if I can help the California Greenworks as well. I mean, in other words, make them
Okay.
focused. So
Yeah.
we digress,
Okay.
but those same focus presentations, we could think about a version of same going, you know, as a board, you know, what we're calling board member news stories, but as news stories. I mean, if we have a Garden School Foundation focus presentation, we can also make that into a story because they're a good organization, whether or not we fund the particular thing. So
Yeah, so we're, sorry, Raheem, did you have something to say?
Nope.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we're just posting those board member news stories as we get them. So there's really no no structure yet. But we'll see if we can maybe work on that over the coming
Right.
months.
But also, since Lizzie is here, hi Lizzie, do we intend to, Lizzie and I are going to receive, I think, what, the 26th of March, the list of actual candidates?
Mhm.
Yes.
Right. Do we want to make that separate and apart from our whole election website? Do we want to have a news story listing the candidates?
Yes, definitely. I was going to suggest that.
Sure.
Yes, to have a featured piece on focus on the candidates, and maybe later on
Boy.
something informative about this whole vote by mail, request a ballot, and so forth.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think that piece should probably be on the elections page, just so we have like one place that we're sending people to, you know?
Right,
We can
right.
carve out a section of the elections. But
But would it still be on the home page, but the jump is to election instead of the jump to the news blog?
yeah,
Mhm.
so
But that's a great idea. I love that. So we'll once you get that information to us,
Yeah.
we'll get it on the website. Okay, so up next is the website updates and development of new content. I think we just covered that. We're just concurrently meeting with both our volunteers for the website and our team, Anne and Doug, to just continue updating things and restructuring wherever needed. And we'll bring any concrete updates, I think, when we have them.
yeah.
And I will be sending you guys, I was just working on finishing up my outline of
Mhm.
what elections, the updated elections page I
Mhm.
will need.
Great. Mhm.
So delete some stuff, add some others, and I will have the outline ready to be sent as an email.
Did you ever find out like what information, like, so, like, basically individuals will have to go to the city clerk's website to,
No, they
like,
can actually print out a application form to request the ballot, and they need to the easiest way to declare eligibility would be to say where they live, the address, to provide the address.
like, all we have to do is provide it. They don't have to like provide any sort of ID or anything else.
Nope. But at the end, you sign under,
Perjury.
well, under perjury, right? That what you are declaring is true.
Do you have that form?
Yeah, it is on the. It
City
is
clerk's
very
website.
easy. You just click and you get a PDF form.
Well, I'm sorry, Lizzie, is it ready? It's not ready for us yet, though, is it?
Yeah, it is ready.
I'm sure it's
I
the same one. It's the same one that other neighborhood councils are using. I'm sure
No,
that
because you have to apply by one of 6 regions if you're a resident. And you, I mean, in other words, it's complicated. If you,
I don't think so. I think if you declare if you state where you live, they will send you the area.
yeah, but okay, why I'm saying it's complicated is remember, I'm on 2 things, but basically a neighborhood council's chairs and presidents email listserv, and as well a Facebook page. And what's happened on earlier elections is they're sending out the wrong ballots to people, and they're working to correct that. So I wonder if that's part of correcting an application thing. So in other words, if a person is a member with Stand LA, because that's physically based at Redeemer Baptist Church, I think, but they do work in our area. So it's questionable as to whether or not under the new municipal code, if they'll be able to vote. But how do they get a ballot if you're declaring a community interest?
There's 3 categories where they can declare eligibility.
And it's all on that same PDF?
Yes.
So we can put the PDF on our website?
Sure. Let me see. I was just looking at it the other day. It might be a little harder to find on my.
So anyway, there've been a ton of complaints that they're sending out the wrong ballots to the wrong people, and people are finding, other neighborhood councils.
Yeah, I mean, what can we do?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Whine a lot.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
I have the PDF here. And
wait, and so once you fill out the PDF, you have to like email it to somebody, or
you can actually you can take a picture of it and you can scan it, and you can email the picture. You can fax it as well.
Oh my God.
So it's very direct.
No,
you don't have
it gets worse. They don't email you back your ballot. They will mail you back your ballot. So maybe you'll get it, and maybe you won't.
Okay. Laura, can you make me co-host for a second so I can share?
I can well, hang on, let me try and do this.
Or I can send
No,
you.
I can. No problem.
Okay, so that you guys can see what it looks like.
But then Gabby has to drop what's being shared right now.
Okay. So can you see it now?
Not yet. Do you know how to do screen share?
Good question. Okay. I've never done.
First you click on share, then you go on the bottom of your black screen. On the Zoom screen, pull your cursor down across the bottom and there'll be the word share.
Screen. Yes.
So click on share.
Yeah.
Then go to the thing you're trying to show us and open it up, and then click share a second time.
Okay, I see.
This is not easy.
But
yeah, and if you have a million things open on your desktop, it's going to be really hard.
Yeah.
Anyway, while she's doing that, so Raheem, the process is somehow you turn in your application for a ballot, then they mail you old-fashioned way the ballot back, and then you fill it out, and then you can either mail it back in, it needs a postmark, or you can, starting the Friday morning, 9 a.m. before, quote, election day, the ballot boxes in Region 10 will all be unlocked, and you can drop off the ballot in the box from 9 a.m. that Friday morning till 5 p.m. Tuesday, May 25th. And it turns out that anybody in the Region 10 election, so it's a number, 6 or 7 neighborhood councils, can use any of the ballot boxes.
There, can you see? So it's actually 4 categories. Can you see it now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of a problem because.
Well, but this is the only thing I mean,
What if you're a student at, well, such and thus high school,
well,
or the parent
we
of a
cannot,
student?
we cannot help.
Yeah, these are not all of
If
our
you own a
categories.
business, if you work, if you own real property, if you have a community interest, you list the name of your organization and the address.
Okay,
You
so
you ask to mail the ballot to
mhm.
a specific address. You sign under penalty of perjury, and then if you want someone else to return the ballot on your behalf, then you have that option as well. Then you can mail it to a physical address, or you can email it, or or fax, and that's it.
This is so ridiculous, my
I know.
God.
And
It
so
is.
on our website, we will need to be very clear,
Mhm.
since this does not cover all of UNNC's actual approved categories in our bylaws, that if you attend school or the parent of someone who attends school, if you attend a church, that means you have a community interest, which is not really the full definition, but we have to describe for people all of those things. Check the third box. I mean, we're going to have an instruction on our own website, and then just hope for the best. Or if you're a participant in a nonprofit, that thing performs ongoing and verifiable activities. So this is really bad that they aren't listing all those other possibilities. So we'll just have to, I mean, we have the bylaws, our language is clear, and it's approved.
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
it's
that's like not even, that's like the least of my concerns. Like the fact that you have to like print this thing out,
mm-hmm.
write it, scan it, email, like it's like, who's gonna do all this about in a neighborhood council election? Like this is
Well,
just,
it'll be, Raheem, I think there's one other option for those who are running in a contest. Yeah, so this is what we think is true. We think the contested elections are Harvard Heights, Area 2, Harvard Heights, West Adams Heights, Area 1, Arlington Heights, Angeles Vista, and Area 6, Jefferson Park, west of Arlington to the west.
Do we have more at-large candidates?
Well, remember, 7 people signed up,
So,
but the
yeah.
first person who signed up weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks ago is still not certified. So we don't know if there's a contest in at-large or not. I'm kind of feeling that if this person was never certified, that we're not, that it's probably 6 people for 6 slots. But the point I'm trying to make is those candidates who are in contests should be canvassing, and they should be carrying stacks of these with them,
Exactly.
I guess.
Exactly.
And handing them out blank.
I was going to suggest that.
Right.
That because even the candidate stakeholders who are traditionally, not part of this process are usually the, renters or immigrants. Our Spanish speakers, they don't usually vote because they think they are not allowed to.
Oh, that's a question. Is this application in Korean and or in Spanish?
I believe it's multilingual here.
I mean, this is sort of not communications committee work, but also elections committee work. But I will say that the Chatsworth Neighborhood Council ended up having a day set aside, a couple weeks before their election, where they had to, come to the train depot, actually the historic train depot in Chatsworth, and we'll help you fill out your application for ballots.
They are multilingual, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 11 languages.
Right.
Would it be more helpful if we can set up a time to talk about how we can help set this up? Or Lizzie, why not in your plan for updating the website page, you can include some of these things that you want to see. Or Laura and Lizzie, us part of the elections committee, right?
Right.
Share with us your vision of what you would like to see so that we can get started, you know, and you know, I think the brainstorm is helpful, but I want to walk away from this with some action items so that we're not just talking about it and then not really,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
so share with us what your vision is and what you think we will need. And then that way we can start working with both our graphics team and then also, you know, Ann and Doug to update the website as soon as possible.
Right.
Yeah. So Lizzie, we might have to have an elections committee meeting too.
Yes,
Because
definitely.
I'm beginning to think, I mean, you know, we were trying to get postcards into businesses and that proved hard. But now I'm thinking we might want to get about these applications in some of the businesses as they're beginning to open, you know, Alibi Coffee. I mean, again, the ones who are cooperative, they could have the ballots. I mean, distributing ballots is not wrong. Telling people how to vote would be wrong,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Exactly.
But I'm
And we
very
can include
upset
that. We
at
can
the
note
language.
all of that information on our
Yeah.
website too, like find a ballot at your local business, you know,
Exactly.
things like that. So I think that's a great brainstorm
Mhm,
session
mhm.
that we just had now.
Okay.
So just yeah, Lizzie, just include all of that information for us and we can start
Yes.
updating the website
Mhm.
Right.
and
Sure.
and communicate with Ann.
Okay.
Is there
I have
any
two-
are there any other items, Raheem, that we need to call attention to regarding the election marketing?
No, we should have that next round to show back to you, Lizzie, tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah, I
We
was gonna
saw-
ask.
Yeah, we saw the next round today. We just have to make one last tweak to it before we have it for you to see.
Okay.
So you should
Because
have
we
that
have
tomorrow.
9 days. It's 9 days.
Well,
9
we
days?
still don't know for sure if we have that second ballot box as well. I
But
mean,
it doesn't matter.
okay, because we're
Yeah,
not
because
putting the
it's ballot
ballot box
We're
on.
not putting that information
Perfect.
because it's
It's
yeah.
fluxing. So one thing we definitely should, however, have on the website, back to this idea,
Uh-huh.
we have that, essentially we have the list of all of the ballot boxes, and I'm hoping they're adding one more in our region 10 on a map. Because
Okay.
again, our stakeholder, they can go to Lauren Miller Park, for example. That's going to be an easier access for many people than the one
Right.
that's right within our boundaries, Jefferson Library, because Lauren Miller Park has a ton of parking and a park. If you want to have your, you know, if you're taking you can take your kids to the park and then drop off your ballot all at the same time.
Mhm.
Although you could do that on Jefferson. But the point is we should have the maps, because people might say, well, I'm going to go shopping at the Albertsons and look, there's a box right down the street from that. I think we should be encouraging our peeps, our voters, to drop off in the ballot boxes rather than mail, because I think the mail is still no good. I think the post office is still having a lot of problems. I'm sure I have 1,000 other thoughts, but not tonight. We should have a elections committee meeting as well.
Yeah.
I have a couple of our website things though.
Okay.
We're getting 404 errors. I'm getting emails in in our Gmail, which is however it gets there, but you know, president@unnc.org, then it bounces to Gmail, bounces not the right way, forwards to Gmail, and then I get it. I'm getting notices of 404 errors.
Mhm.
And then
On to
Greg tried to access the executive committee calendar and got a 404 error. And I'm not even sure what a 404 error is. On Greg, I keep telling him you need to refresh your browser, because he's saying, you know, where are the agendas? And it's like, I always can find them on the calendar. So so that's partly a user error, but he got a 404 error as well, whatever that is. I don't need to know the answer. I'm just giving you information. I do want to still try and get more updates on the where we click on and see the list of committees. So now the list got a lot longer instead of shorter, which is good. But since we just approved those different mission statements, which are really descriptions of the committees, and we have the chairs and when they meet. Do you need me to write that all up?
I thought Gabby had asked, didn't you ask Laura for that, Gabby?
The committee.
Well, I had
list?
sent her version 1, but we now have a version 2. The
Yeah,
goal
so
is
whatever that
acted on
updated
it last
information is, if you get it to us, we'll get it. That's one of the
Okay.
things we're working on, yeah.
Yeah, because that's what's been holding us back a little bit in terms of progress on the website updates.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So as you know, or may know, that Greg keeps wanting to have website updates elsewhere, executive committee or board, and I keep saying, come to this meeting or at least email you guys with his concerns. So did you get an email from him?
No, I didn't. Raheem, did you?
Mm-mm.
All right. Well, I mean, then that's that. I mean,
He can email us any questions or anything like that, and we'll always just deal with that whenever we.
Well,
get
that's
it.
what I keep telling him. I mean, it's just that he keeps requesting that it goes on the agendas, and then a breath later keeps saying, "Why did the meetings last so long?" So I'm trying not to put things on the governing board agenda or executive committee, which are really committee business.
Okay. We'll just talk to him directly.
Good. Okay.
All right. So up next on the agenda is communications and marketing ideas or any upcoming virtual events. So we haven't really been able to or have had the capacity to do this. So so we can actually kind of drop this next time, but
Yeah.
I think we'll just roll with it and figure out when is the best time to do some marketing. But I think we're getting there with at least the contributions that Michael has done with the election and other upcoming projects.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, I mean, I'm actually in the process of setting up a Facebook ad campaign for Gabby, some of the general follow UNNC posts that Mickey made. So we're gonna have that running. If I can get it up tonight, we'll run it from now until the 26th. Just try to boost our followers on Facebook and Instagram. So we're still doing that kind of stuff. We're just not doing like any sort of bigger initiatives.
One thing that I've been tracking, I keep looking at who's running for the board, and the people who that we don't know, and in other words, Raheem, we know you, right? So you're running, we know you. But there are people who have signed up that have never been to a UNNC meeting. But what's more interesting is that we do not have their email addresses in our MailChimp database. So I don't even know how exactly they knew that this election was happening. So one of the things I'm going to try and do with Lizzie's permission when we finally have their contacts is just ask them, survey each of the candidates, how did you hear about this? Will help UNNC in its future social media and other marketing efforts, because I'm guessing a lot of them came from the new, exciting, visually great social media that we have, but that's just a guess. No, I'm saying it's probably where they came from, because they're not getting our emails.
Let's just go ahead and make that assumption and let that be it.
No, it's a good thing, but I do think some of our social media, as we're pushing people to follow, every once in a while, it should also say, and sign up for our emails to learn about, whatever.
Of course, yeah.
Right, because we're not getting a lot of new signups. Meaning we've gotten a few new signups and a few drops. We're at exactly the same number that we were 3 months ago.
Yeah, it's trying to get people to convert from whatever platform they're on to the website is like a different,
Not a criticism at all. I'm just saying we need to be mindful that are all right now. So I'm really crossing fingers that the new folks who win actually know we have meetings, and that that I mean, in other words, they're not getting our e-blast to see what our meetings are. So I'm hoping soon they will. but I love the campaign visuals. I mean, they're just great.
And I have to say, the website, I've been checking other elections related website pages on other NCs. Ours is very, just the first phase alone is very robust with information and relevant, and we have weeded out what was not necessary, and
Right.
and provided direct links for candidates. So I think you know we
Yeah.
should we
Yeah.
should say good job.
Good
Good
job,
job.
everybody. Good job.
Yeah, compared to other, because other neighborhood councils are spending $10,000 in
Right.
elections.
Right.
What?
No, I mean, right.
Wow.
Exactly.
It's ridiculous when people do not have, food to eat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Anyway,
Right.
I'll
And you
end
know
my
what,
speech.
Lizzie? I've not gone back into the Studio City piece of the clerk site to see how many candidates they actually got. So I'm going to do that later tonight
Yeah.
because they're the ones who spent 10,000.
Exactly. Yes. And they were
Wow.
bragging about it at dawn.
Right.
Wow.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right.
So I have another question. When we have I mean, obviously it's erratic when we have the board member news stories, and then some are better than others, but are we ever pushing any of those out in social media? Meaning we've got a great
Yeah, we
story
were
on
doing
the
that. That
website.
was like the main way that we were getting them out. That's the main way we were pushing them out when we were doing it on a schedule.
Oh,
We would
good.
boost pretty much every single one. Yeah. We didn't boost John's, which we can. I didn't realize that it was up.
It's a
But
little
Yeah,
arcane.
Anne didn't respond with a link, but I checked online and it was up.
Okay. Yeah, we can boost that too.
Okay.
All
And
right.
we didn't.
we did Black History Month. Do we want to do any one thing for Women's History Month? Not that I know what the one thing would be, but
Also, Josh didn't get to take pictures, right?
Josh, Gabby was just asking me earlier tonight, and I don't know. You know what, Gabby? We should probably check the Dropbox. Remember, he said he was going to be uploading some pictures to drop
Yeah.
to the.
Yeah.
That would
well,
be really nice. I had my own pictures, but I didn't know, I didn't want to impose my my own,
No, you can, if you have
photos.
we'll share a way. We should develop a way, Raheem, for board members to share any graphics
Yeah.
that they'd like
Because I
to
had them, I
submit.
had the lawn signs by the Free Little Libraries. That was very cute on
Okay,
on
I
the
have
lawn.
walked around the neighborhood. I cannot find that library thing. I
Oh.
really can't find it, but we can talk about that offline.
Yeah, of course. I will
yeah,
send you the information where they are.
Yeah, please. And because I have a lot of cute little books I want to share. But
Yes,
anyway,
yes, of course.
so if you can share those with us via email, and then we'll just talk about it with Josh tomorrow. We have a quick check-in so we can find out.
Okay. All right.
and are we only trying to tell good, fun, positive stories, or do we
No.
want to bring news to the front?
News is fine.
Well, I don't know if it's fine. Chris and Dimitri called me today, Chris Carlson, and they were driving up Arlington by, your section, Gabby, but the east side of Arlington from Jefferson to Adams, somebody's apparently torched the remaining trees on Arlington.
Oh, no.
And she said they're all charcoal. So I don't know. I mean, in other words, it's making me nervous about that we're about to plant a bunch of trees. I don't want them torched, but
we may not want to
put anything
that.
negative out like that, or
No, because then there's gonna be copycat.
okay.
Well, not
People
only
do.
that, we're about to approve
Yeah.
an item about for trees. So
No,
25
that's what I'm
trees,
saying. It's
so,
like really
yeah.
awful. Or the fact that 1537 Wilton Place not only burned once, but it's now had a second fire. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Do we only push the good things, which is fine with me? We're not a news service, but I'm just trying to get a sense of what we're trying to do.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends. Like, I think it's kind of a case by case. Like, if it's relevant and makes sense, like, sure. But
Yeah.
if there's reasons to not post something, then that's okay too.
Right.
Mhm.
And last but so not least, for the April 1st board meeting, we have a really good guest speaker from 6:30, to 7, and that's Capri Maddox, and she's the new head of the new Civil Rights Department and Human Relations Commission. I mean, all of that. So, and then right after that, we have a proposal. I'm going to do it early. I'm going to switch the agenda up a little, just do that almost first because it's contentious. A proposal to co-name, not rename, co-name Crenshaw Boulevard for Malcolm X.
Mhm.
I'm bringing it to the front as I'm going to see if Capri will stay and help moderate that discussion. It went for more than 90 minutes at Planning and Zoning. I don't want it to be really, really long. It's a contentious topic, but the question becomes, do we promote it or do we not?
Absolutely, we promote it. if our goal is stakeholder engagement,
And input, yeah, it makes sense to
absolutely.
share it.
Right. And just so you know, the reason it's contentious in our community, based on people who came to that other meeting and talked, is, our section of Crenshaw runs through a community that historically was a combination of Jewish, Japanese American, current, I don't know what percentage, but current population of gay and lesbian, LGBTQ+. And there's concerns about Malcolm X's positioning around that in the past.
Well, our posting of the item won't be for one way or another. It'll be come and tell us how you feel. So
right.
Yeah,
I'm just I'm telling you how the meeting went and why I'm trying to figure out how to make it only go for 30 minutes. And even that's long in terms of what we're trying to do, which is not have meetings that go past 10. And, so I'm just saying, I'm struggling with how to do it, but I've put them off now forever. And their deadline is upon us. So it has to be an April 1st meeting. So
that's fine. Thanks. All right. Well, with that,
I'm sorry, Becky. So would we want to, for example, include a link or publish a biography of Malcolm X on our website in advance of this meeting?
Oh,
yeah, that's what I mean. And the good news is they are proposing co-name, not rename. So the business owners on Crenshaw do not need to change their address and their literature if they don't want to. So we don't need to say that on the website, but the question would be, anyway, because I didn't know a lot about him. I myself had to look up bio.
Well, we can compromise and just include an objective biography, limited biography of Malcolm X, and then invite public input, whether for or against, at the meeting.
At the meeting, yes.
We won't. We don't. I don't think we need to have too much information.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you even need to put a biography. I think like if somebody reads that and is interested to learn more about him, the internet is at their disposal, and like I don't think that. I mean, because then what do you like? Especially hearing what you're saying, Laura, like how do you even provide an objective biography? Like there's no.
No,
like,
it's really hard.
So.
No, that's a good point. That's a good point.
I mean, I read about 10 different ones because they were all.
Sorry, Jasmine had a comment. Jasmine, please go ahead.
Sorry, no, I was just asking if the I don't remember if the organization that that's bringing this to us, if they have any materials that they want to provide, and I feel like that sort of takes our subjectivity out of it by allowing them to provide something to say like these are the materials being presented by the organization that's trying to get this done.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, Jasmine, because I had asked them, because again, we had it at planning and zoning, if they did have that kind of material, and it was sort of like they really didn't, because they know who he is so well, so intimately, and the people involved in this have been working on it 15 years ago, dropped it and have brought it back. And but I'll talk to Andre Parvano and see if maybe they do have something, because clearly I think that has to happen.
Yeah, I was at that
Yeah.
eventful meeting.
It was more than 90 minutes, right?
It was ridiculous. And I think a lot of the
Vicky?
comments got out of hand. So I do think that there needs to be some pre-thinking in terms of how to sort of facilitate that conversation. Because I can see our meeting going until like the next day, honestly.
I mean, we can talk offline a little bit about how to manage that meeting. You know, go ahead, Lizzie.
Did you mention Andre? Andre.
Oh, Andre Parvanu is the person helping them.
Okay.
The former city planner who
Yes.
isn't the promoter of it, but is the one kind of helping them through the system. And
no, I remember in the past, if we have if we had a group of people talking on one position or the other, usually there should be just one spokesperson, and then they can ask who's, you know, for everyone else who is in agreement to raise their hands. And
yeah, but the nature of this discussion, and Jasmine,
it's not gonna
one
be that
very
way.
angry person
Okay.
who
well, we have
for years, but who doesn't present well and doesn't control, gets angrier and angrier. But she is a qualified historian.
Okay.
So started out good and then just descended into anger. But she was not incorrect about her assessment of the heritage of this community. And then other people were also talking about that, myself included. But you know, it's a complex subject because we have so many layers of history here. You know, and anyway, it's just complex.
Okay.
And yeah, Lizzie, what we used to try and do, and I think the city tries to do it in public hearings as well, when you have something controversial, is like one in favor, one opposed, one in favor, one opposed. And our standing rules would say you can't speak a second time until everyone has had a chance to speak the first time, and no one can speak.
We also have a limit of public comment time, right, Laura?
Well, it's our standing rules don't really address who gets to speak first, but normally board members speak before the general public. I don't know on a topic like this, but my real point is I was going to ask Capri to help moderate, because that's her job, and this conversation could descend into even more difficulties than poor presenters who talk too long. If I'm trying to be so careful about what I say, but Jasmine, you know who I was talking about. And I just wanted it to be moderated by someone whose job it is to moderate conversations just like this, and who's good anyway. So I haven't even talked to Capri to see if she can stay longer. So we'll see what happens. But I do think we should let the public know more than a day before that this conversation will be happening. And it's possible that it won't help the length of the meeting, but I might see if we should start the meeting a little bit earlier.
As soon as you distribute the agenda, we can actually make a post for Facebook and start getting the word out about the item. And
yeah, I mean, if we can get something before then, because like Facebook recommends like I think like 5 days, and if you want to boost something for it to really get any sort of like, or to get the best traction. So that's what usually hampers us with promoting meetings, if we're only getting stuff 72 hours in advance instead of time for the algorithm to
okay.
magic.
Then if we know it's going to be on the agenda, we can start posting for it now.
Yeah.
Actually.
Well, I'll check in with Andre.
Well, not now,
you know,
but.
And I'm sorry, I've been on such a work deadline today. I didn't go to the SLANK meeting, which was at 6 o'clock tonight, because this was also being presented there again tonight, but I wasn't there. So.
Okay.
Okay. So I mean, yes, I know it's going to be on the agenda unless Andre says they've decided not to present to the city until September. I mean, if that's the case, we don't need to do it, April 1st. Okay. So,
Yeah,
sorry to
so I
take
just
so much
wanna-
time, but I just wanted to let you guys know, because that one, I think we need to have a community conversation.
Yeah, and I just definitely want to strongly encourage you to reach out to that moderator, facilitator, Laura, because quite frankly, I thought some of the comments were rather offensive, and I think had there been other, certain folks on the call that weren't as calm or, didn't respond in such a diplomatic way, it could have gotten really bad. And so to avoid that, I do think that there should be maybe a professional, person to facilitate that.
Well, and to be blunt, a person of color, not me. I mean,
Yeah, that would be helpful as well.
Yep.
But I think you did a great job, though. I think you and Andre, and I can't remember the other gentleman's name, I think you all did a great job in terms of trying to manage that conversation, because I think it was a very difficult one to have. But I do think that she was out of line with a lot of the things that she said. And I think that she was just fortunate that there wasn't someone on the call that, would have responded in a much more sort of aggressive or hostile manner. So yeah, moving forward, I think it would be critical to have someone there to help manage that.
Okay. Well,
Damn,
I'll
now
talk
I'm
to
really, I feel like I
Capri
really
and
missed something.
Hmm?
I feel like I really missed out on something now.
Yeah, we did.
You did.
Is that meeting
You did.
recorded? Is there
Oh,
a
I'm
recording of this
sure it
meeting
was.
somewhere?
Yes. Yes, there is.
We can
But-
get our hands on it.
Well, no, I mean, I mean, Jasmine and I mean, we're being recorded again tonight, so we have to be careful. But the person we're referring to is also someone who's had a difficult time, I would say, this last year with the whole pandemic, moderating her talking. I mean, in other words, she's a person I've known forever. Other than that meeting, I haven't spoken to her in 6 months. I just couldn't deal, with how she's expressing herself the longer we're in lockdown, if I'm saying that as kindly as I can. I mean, she also was there's no such thing as COVID, but it turns out also that she was in a trial and got a vaccine very early. So it's like, which is it? So I think she's not coping really well with all the stuff that's going on. And hadn't talked to a lot of people in a long time and just, but that being said, another month has gone by and she's still in that same lockdown situation. So there's no guarantee that she will behave any differently. And unfortunately, she had some good points that just got lost in the rest of what she was saying.
Okay.
And the way she was saying it and how long she went on and on. So.
Well, all right.
All right.
Alrighty.
Yeah. All right.
Gabby, was there anything else on the agenda, or was that it?
That was it. So we're ready to adjourn.
Before we adjourn, I just want to say, Chewy, thank you for hanging in there and for listening along. I'm really curious to know how you found us, and if you want to tell us anything else about yourself, that'd be really cool. But no pressure.
Oh, no worries. Thanks for having us. It's me, Chewy, and Judy.
Yeah.
So Chewy and Judy, we've been
Nice.
on and off listening, and I think you found this through what?
I found
Like
it through
Next.
Nextdoor, actually.
Oh,
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yay.
nice.
That's
Yay.
great.
Yeah. So we're in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Have you guys been in the neighborhood long? Are you new to the neighborhood?
Oh, I actually grew up here, and I think, Raheem, I think you live in my block. Well, not my block, but we live in the block.
Wait. This is my block, Judy.
I
This is
know.
mine.
Hey, I've been here since '88. Okay.
Wow.
All right, you win, Judy.
No, but yeah, it's our block. No, but yeah, you live here, and yeah, me and Chewy sometimes see you, and yeah, So hi. We see you walking.
See now, if you showed us your picture, then
No.
Raheem might recognize you.
We're
too.
anonymous. right
We're
now.
anonymous. We're kind of camera
No, no.
shy. No.
I'll turn my. I can turn my
Yeah,
camera
we
on.
can do-
She might be shy, but
No worries.
okay. The lighting is horrible, but
You're,
I don't know
you're in a cave.
yeah. So we live on 22nd.
Very cool. Like where on 22nd?
Nice.
Towards 10. Right?
Yeah,
Is that right?
we're actually in the middle of between Bronson and 10th Ave.
Okay.
Yeah. Hi.
Yeah. Hi. We totally are neighbors. Well, good to meet you guys. And next time you see
Yeah.
me or I see you, we can say hi in person. From
Definitely.
6 feet away, though. From 6 feet away.
I know,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for showing up and hope to see you guys.
Yeah.
again soon. We have a lot of other committees that are very active and getting more active. So if this wasn't like your cup of tea, there's hopefully another committee that really does speak to you, and hope you guys will find a way to get involved.
Right,
somehow.
but we don't have a mountain climbing committee.
Yeah,
We should start
I'll
one.
start that. I have a climbing wall in the back. So once things clear up, we'll have people come climb.
Wait, you have a climbing wall? I do climbing, and so I'm like, this
Great.
is really cool.
Oh,
You
nice.
actually have one?
Yeah,
Yeah, he
I
built
built
one.
I built it last March. It's been a year. So
You'll have to show me. I've been wanting to build one too.
oh great,
So
yeah.
cool.
Look at that.
I know.
Right, the climbing community begins. So
Totally.
yeah, I appreciate the meeting, and we just wanted to check in, and this is my first time being somewhat involved with a neighborhood committee. So
Yeah,
Oh,
same.
cool.
yeah.
Cool.
So like
We're
Raheem
observing.
said, we have many topics. We have a Recreation and Parks Committee. We have an Environmental Committee that's focused right now is trees, but climate change, the air we breathe, making everything clean for the next generation. We have land use. That's one I co-chair. We have, what else do we have? Communication, outreach.
Economic development.
Economic development.
Economic development.
And those are
Parks
the ones
and
that
Rec.
have people. And then we should have, but don't, youth and education, and we should have a public safety. And, but we're building it up slowly.
Okay,
And-
guys, we're coming across way too desperate here. Let's just.
I know.
No.
let's stop.
I'm identifying interests that you may have. Not that we're desperate, because you know what? This month, we've had lots of people. Oh, homelessness liaison. We've had lots of people at each of those committees. I mean, it's Zoom is interesting because we're building more participation. Although I'm also noticing that people who participated in person over the years, we're missing a lot of them. So that maybe this technology doesn't work for everybody. So we'll see.
Do you guys belong to the neighborhood association, the Arlington Heights? Because there's that too.
No, yeah, I'm aware of that one, but yeah, we're not really. We're trying.
We're more fun.
Do we also have monthly meetings as well?
We used to, but since the pandemic hit, we haven't had a meeting the whole course of the pandemic. We've been trying to figure out how the neighborhood association can do something similar on Zoom or something. We just haven't yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So also, Raheem, because you were the association, was it meeting at the Underground Museum?
Yeah, we were.
And are they able to reopen starting like now, if you know?
I haven't reached out to them, but even still, we still wouldn't have any in-person
No.
meetings.
I understand that, but I think we're on the precipice of being able to have some meetings in person again, I think by July or August. And not just we UNNC, but the neighborhoods. I mean, I think people are aching for the personal connection, but worried about how to do it, right? West Adams Heritage, we're talking, but I don't know that we can do this. I mean, we have an annual 4th of July, big, huge, hundreds of people, potluck, barbecue. And it's like, we didn't do it last year. Can we do it this year? But we can't do a potluck. I mean, even if everyone's vaccinated, it's sort of like sketchy.
Yeah, not yet.
So how do you
Not
do
yet.
it? I mean, do you have enough little tables that only families who are anyway, but people want.
Sorry to interrupt. I actually have to drop off.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Tui and Judy, you said?
Yeah.
Right? Okay, thank you so much for joining. And if I'll actually, do you have an email that we can maybe contact you through? I think we have. I can share mine actually. And
Yeah,
then if you ever
I
have any questions or input,
totally. Yeah,
feel
I'll
free to
drop
reach
that
out to
here
us.
as well. And also, yeah, we have to leave too, but I'd be happy to drop my email in here.
Cool. We'll throw you on our mailing list if that's cool.
For sure.
Lots of
Alrighty, well, have a great night, everyone.
All right, Gabby. Good
Bye.
night. Sleep tight.
And Raheem, can you stay 1 sec? I mean, you guys don't have to go. So on those emails from Anne, all about the live Zoom, can you just tell her it's not that I don't want to share my the username and stuff with her. I have no secrets in my life. It's that I want to make sure it's coordinated when she's doing the testing that I'm not on another Zoom meeting, because one of us will get booted off. I mean, you can't use it double. There's a way to figure this out.
I mean, when we talked to Anne, because we were under the impression that there were 2 Zoom licenses, and so that was our desire was to use the second one
for the experiments. Yeah, actually, I went out. I ended up just looking it up. It seems, for anyone who understands the technical words, actually easy to do. Except for I don't understand the technical words. Meaning there's a whole, say, you just do this, and then you do this, and then you do this, and then you're done. And you're live streaming on YouTube. So, but I just want to make sure that she doesn't suddenly jump in like at 7:30 on a Thursday night when I'm hosting your meeting to try to see how it works in our meeting.
Yeah, and I mean, from what I know about Anne, like they work late hours, and so I think we could definitely coordinate where she would do it at midnight one night or something.
Right.
So that,
and this is, I assume, I mean, in other words, I'd be most comfortable if I, the president, not I, the person who has an account, if we use YouTube, because that doesn't require anybody to have any special access. Facebook Live, you still have to have a Facebook account to get in.
Not necessarily. I mean, if there's a live going and it's hosted on somebody's page, you can just go to facebook.com/UNNC_LA and you're there. But yeah, I mean, the idea is that we might, I mean, if we can stream it on multiple platforms, YouTube and Facebook and wherever else, like we would do that. We can see where the engagement is most, where the streams are happening the most. Like if there's nobody watching on Facebook, we can kill the Facebook stream. But I mean, the idea is to just kind of like see how many places we can get it out to and see if there's any traction there.
Right. Well, what has to happen, I mean, I've gone to enough in this year of the pandemic. I've signed up for enough Zoom presentations that ended up with too many people. So you get bounced to Facebook or YouTube because the Zoom meeting's full, to know that the issue isn't the license at Zoom. I mean, in other words, once we figure it out, we just set it up. The issue is you need a separate moderator at the Facebook or at the YouTube if you want to allow those people to participate by asking questions, because they have to ask the questions of that moderator, and then that moderator texts the other moderator. So for example, we're going to do a candidate. I'm sorry. What I'm trying to say is, for a regular meeting, they'd just be watching, they couldn't participate. But we're going to do a candidates forum on the 29th of April, and I can see where that might exceed 100 people on my professional license. So it would be good to have this all resolved and handled for that. But we would need a separate moderator if somebody has a question from the audience, because it can be done, but it just is complicated.
Yeah, and I think we talked about this, and we said that if it is too complicated, you can always turn off comments on these other streaming platforms and just have it just be like something that's just viewable. So it would just, I mean, it's something we want to test out and kind of see how it works, and then from there we can kind of like plan around how to best use it.
Right. So basically what happened with Dunn is that they opted to buy these really expensive webinar Zoom licenses, and they're about to expire anyway. I mean, they're April 30th they expire, but they didn't ask the presidents or chairs who should get it or what email. So the one they assigned to UNNC went to my personal email, and I don't know where it is because we're not even using we didn't want to do webinar. So we're doing meeting format. It's a different license. So I could probably retrieve the email or get it from Dunn, and we could play around with a webinar, but now I don't even know how to do a webinar. And I don't, for us, since we have a 22 member board and we like full participation, it wasn't going to work because in webinar, you have to change people's status from audience to panelists, one by one, by one, by one. And then the people who are in the audience, you don't see who they are. I mean, it's a really different format. It's really designed for a seminar, a webinar, and it's not designed for a meeting. So I just let it sit around and do nothing, but it's on my personal email. They didn't, so I can't have that second license on the same email. So I could go back and change that, but we're at the point where it's about to expire, and they spent $50,000 or something. I mean, it was ridiculous. And many of the neighborhood council presidents are not using the city license because nobody asked us, what do you need? What do you want? What email to use? So
annoying. Okay, good to know.
I know it's just a city at work. So I will give Anne my thing, but I just want to make sure she's not trying to log in when I'm on a Zoom.
Yeah, and again, I think that if you say just that, even if you want to give her like a window of time, like I want to use it after 11 p.m. on Fridays or whatever, then
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So okay, thank you.
All righty.
Bye.
Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.